Sisters and brothers, it is good to know that you are watching. I'd like to begin with a word from the late John O'Donoghue, an Irish poet, author, and priest, followed by a brief moment of silence. We enter this silence and stillness in order to decipher the creative depths of the divine imagination that dreams our lives. Somewhere in this kept darkness, the affection that created us waits to bless and heal us. I hope that many of you were able to choose a word from the baskets that we made available in the meeting house starting in mid-February. We suggested that you could pick a word to think about during the season of Lent and consider whether that word represented something you could embrace more fully or something that you would consider letting go of, depending obviously on the word you chose and how your life has evolved and changed in relation to that word over the years. If you didn't get to choose a word and would like one, we have the basket still, and so you could just let us know and we can pick one for you and tell you what it is. So some of you heard Steve Whalen and Mike Miller offer their reflections on the words they chose, which were goodness and exercise, respectively. We missed Ruth last Sunday, Ruth Portfield, who had planned to speak about the word simplify, and she said to me in a text the other day that, quote, "We are certainly called to simplify in this very strange time, but in doing so, we have discovered complexity, just another paradox," unquote. So I like her brief but insightful reflection on that word, so thanks, Ruth. I chose the word sanctuary. It's a very rich word with lots of things that come to mind, for me at least. By definition, a sanctuary is a place of refuge or safety, a nature reserve, or a holy place like a temple or a church or a mosque. So it's certainly a physical space, but it feels like more than that when you consider the emotions it brings up for us, when we use it in terms of thinking about a special place, like the one in which we usually worship across the street from where we are now, or when you consider the word as a place of refuge for someone fearing for their life, a place they might find just when they need it most. We're offering online worship from the Emerson Chapel for a couple of reasons today. The first being that we have reliable Wi-Fi over on this side of the common, which allows us to offer this Zoom service. And secondly, because the sound quality is a little bit easier to manage here in this smaller space. We hope that you can hear us all right, but please let us know if you can't. But no doubt some of you are missing the visit to our shared special place for worship today. You may be missing sitting in the pews that have been shared with thousands of others over many, many years. People much like you who have gone there in good times and bad, when you've been energized or depleted, full of hope or feeling blue, always with questions and thoughts to consider while listening to the stories, songs, prayers, and messages of our faith. It's the fourth Sunday of Lent, so if we were in the meeting house, you'd have seen this particular Lenten banner created by Irina Gonzalez-Guerra, along with the three previous ones on display along the side walls in that space. But today I brought over just this one new one to hang above our communion table. In Emerson Chapel, where we are right now, the five of us gathered here right now can gaze out the floor-to-ceiling windows into the beautiful south lawn of the Emerson Center, just as spring is beginning to awaken. But whether or not we are physically gathering together in the meeting house or in this chapel is not really all that critical when it comes to knowing and feeling what it means to be God's people together, no matter where we are. In our scripture reading from Genesis today, we encounter Jacob, one of our spiritual ancestors, who found himself, at least for a while, in unknown territory. In this story, Jacob is on the run from his brother Esau, having tricked him and his father Isaac into receiving a blessing just before skipping town with the assistance of his mother Rebekah. Jacob is neither in a familiar place, nor does he know where he's going. In one sense, Jacob's situation is not unlike where we find ourselves right now, if only metaphorically speaking. We are in unfamiliar waters as a community of God, a nation, and indeed the whole world. And yet there are a number of stories in the Bible when our ancestors also found themselves in unfamiliar places or in uncertain times. It is good to know that so many others have been here before us. Right now, though, you are all in your homes. You feel the comfort of familiar surroundings, probably with pictures of loved ones and friends nearby, or objects that are meaningful or sentimental for one reason or another. So take a moment to look around you and see what you see. Enjoy the beauty, calm, and familiarity of your home. Recall how it has changed and evolved over the years or months, as the case may be. Remember who has visited you there, who has lived there with you, and who no longer lives there with you. In my home, I have quite a lot of things I've made with my own hands over the years, and I bet you do too. These things are what help make a place special and allow you to renew and sustain yourself there for whatever you will face next in your day or your week or your life. Certainly our homes are places of sanctuary, a place where we feel safe and comforted, a place where special moments have been celebrated, lots of work and homework have been done, where some hard conversations have taken place, and where you have eaten so many meals, shared so many laughs, and cried many tears, I'm sure. It's precisely because all those things have happened there that our homes become sanctuaries. They become safe and special, holy even, because of the sheer volume of things that have happened there. The memories of what has taken place in our homes are vast. But even places we have been to only briefly can also quickly become sanctuary for us. I imagine some of you might be thinking of other special places too. The homes of grandparents, a childhood home, your first home, each a kind of sanctuary. You might also feel the same way about your backyard or a particular mountaintop, a holy space you once visited in another part of the world, or the place where you got married. We have special places for lots of reasons, all of them unique in their own way and full of so much that you hold in your heart for a lifetime, even if you are not always there in space. But what sets everyday or important places apart from places of real sanctuary is whether we meet God there. When Jacob stopped to rest at the very spot where his grandfather Abraham stopped when he was on his way into the land where God was leading him, Jacob was on his way out of that land. But it's no accident, obviously, that he settled for the night in the very same spot, nor that he found sanctuary there. As he slept, Jacob had a dream in which he saw a ladder, or as some scholars suggest, it may have been a Mesopotamian ziggurat, which is a landmass formed like a temple through which it appears that earth and heaven touch. And so in that special place, Jacob had a dream that showed him that heaven and earth were connected. There were angels going up and down the staircase. This was some good news for a trickster and a schemer like Jacob. Remember, he was on the run from his very angry brother. He needed a safe place, a place of sanctuary, though he didn't know that's what had been offered to him until God met him there. It's good news for us too. Walter Brueggemann described Jacob's dream of the ladder this way. as news that there is traffic between heaven and earth. Earth is not left to its own devices, and heaven is not a remote self-contained realm for the gods. Heaven has to do with earth, and earth may finally count on the resources of heaven. The assurance that the realm of earth and the realm of God are intimately connected, that they are in fact one reality, is something that I imagine might comfort most of us. And the Lord stood beside Jacob and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give to you and to your offspring, and your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And all families of the earth shall be blessed in you and in your offspring. Know that I am with you, and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I promised to you. The way things are right now, I hope God's promises to Jacob and to all of us are renewed in your heart. I know we could sure use some extra resources that lie far beyond our own understanding. We can also be comforted in knowing that as God's people, we were made for days like these. The best in us can shine brightly when we're faced with challenges. We are already seeing this in the number of you who have offered to run to the grocery store or the pharmacy so that others who are more susceptible to this virus can stay home. When Jacob awoke, he knew something special had happened there. He marked the spot where he had found unexpected shelter, where he had been offered sanctuary in the midst of uncertainty. I wonder if you've ever had a similar experience. I wonder if over the course of your life, you found yourself in a strange land or in uncertain times and found sanctuary. Have you ever been traveling, feeling a bit uncertain, and then connected with a person or a place or a feeling or with God in a way that helped ground you? Have you found sanctuary when you needed it most? I wonder if your own home feels like that now. I hope so. I know that the offer of sanctuary has given shelter and a safe place for many people in many times and places. I remember during the first Gulf War when I was in seminary that the students and faculty at Union Theological Seminary discussed whether we would offer sanctuary in case a draft were instituted and certain people were not able or did not wish to comply, something that that particular institution had offered before in its long history. Union Seminary also served as a temporary home, a safe place, a sanctuary for Dietrich Bonhoeffer while he was teaching and writing and deciding whether he would return home to face certain death due to his involvement in the plot to kill Adolf Hitler. I took a class in the space where he lived, and it felt holy to me. I knew God was with me in that space as God was with him then too. Places of sanctuary protect people and offer them safety, hope, and a vision of what may lie ahead. There are some churches in our area who have chosen to offer sanctuary to immigrants facing deportation, especially those who have lived in this country for a very long time, but now find themselves unexpectedly in uncertain times, as we all are. These folks have turned to these churches for help, safety, and hope. I'm sure that all of you have a wide variety of feelings about offering this kind of sanctuary, but I ask you to consider whether you might feel a little differently about that now, today, when you are so very aware of what the sanctuary of your home feels like, than maybe you did even a week ago or a month ago, before things felt so much more uncertain. There are quite a few reflections bouncing around online these days which point out some of the unexpected benefits of the drastic shift in our way of life across the world. One, attributed to a woman named Kitty O'Meara, I'll offer you in an adapted way by saying, maybe celebrate that many people are at home reading books, listening and resting, exercising and making art. People are playing games, learning new ways of being and understanding stillness within. Some listen more deeply, some meditate, some pray, and some dance. Some meet their shadows, and we have begun to think differently, and people are healing. And when the danger has passed and the people join together again, they will grieve their losses and make new choices and dream new dreams and create a new way to live and heal the earth fully as they have been healed. Everywhere there are people offering help and meals and medical care and support and love, and we will do the same. We will offer hope and sanctuary just as God has offered it to us. In closing, I offer you a prayer, which is a poem really, entitled When I Don't Feel Ready for This by a woman named Ariane Braithwaite Land. And it goes as follows. Lord Jesus, I am finding kinship with your disciples, soul friends who followed you immediately when you met them in boats tangled with fishing nets or on stone walls near wells or counting the clink of tax money. The siblings of mine who were willing to follow your lead when they didn't feel ready, rather than sitting down to reason, they stood up to respond and chose every morning to move their feet, even as their minds questioned and their hearts worried. Can I do that today? With your help? With theirs? You tell me an element of fear always accompanies the most worthwhile ventures. And I feel in my body the age-old wisdom, if I wait till I'm ready, I'll eternally wait. If I block potential pain, I also thwart what could be my life's greatest joy. I pray that even in my confusion, I can be committed, asking you all my questions while we continue to walk. Amen. My friends, we are God's people wherever we are. We rest in each other's hearts, and we feel the very real love that connects us one to another. So remember God's promises to Jacob. I am with you. I will keep you wherever you go. I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised. Amen.